garden that bloomed only at night by Renegade X. At the edge of a quiet village, behind a tall iron gate, there was a garden that no one visited during the day. Sunlight barely touched its flowers, and the paths were shadowed and cool. Villagers whispered stories about it, saying it was ordinary by day, but magical when the sun went down. The caretaker of the garden was a young woman named Leora. She arrived every evening just as the last rays of sunlight faded. Her shoes barely made a sound on the gravel path, and she carried a small lantern that glowed like a warm amber. As the village lights dimmed and the sky darkened, something remarkable happened. The flowers began to open. Not ordinary flowers. These were delicate blooms that shone in soft, pale colors, glowing faintly like moonlight. Lilies, roses, and tiny bell-shaped flowers stretched their petals slowly, as if waking from a long, deep sleep. Even the vines along the garden walls twisted gently, reaching toward the silver light of the moon. Leora walked among the blossoms, her fingers brushing the petals carefully. Each flower had its own scent. Some smelled like sweet honey, others like fresh rain, and a few carried a hint of wild mint. The scents mixed with the cool night air, creating a soft, calming perfume that drifted over the paths. In the heart of the garden, a small fountain whispered quietly, water spilling over smooth stones. The sound was gentle, almost like a lullaby, blending with the rustle of leaves and the distant call of a night bird. The garden felt alive, but peaceful, as if the earth itself had chosen this time to rest and shine. Leora sometimes invited visitors, people who had wandered too far, lost in thought, or carrying heavy hearts. They would step through the iron gate and immediately feel the change. The night seemed to hug them, and the glowing flowers cast a soft light on their faces. Visitors never spoke loudly. The garden was a place for quiet wonder. Some would sit on the low stone benches and watch the blossoms sway gently. Others would walk along the winding paths, letting their fingers brush the leaves and petals. Every step felt deliberate, every breath full of calm. One night, a little boy wandered in alone. He had been afraid of a storm and had run from the village streets. The rain had just stopped, and droplets clung to the flowers, sparkling in the lantern light. Leora guided him to the fountain and handed him a warm cup of tea she had bought from the nearby cottage. "Why does the garden only bloom at night?" the boy asked softly, his eyes wide. Leora smiled. "Because the night listens better," she said. "It hears the world's quiet needs, and when the stars and the moon watch over us, the flowers can bloom freely, without hurry or worry." boy sipped his tea and watched the garden glow. He felt calmer than he had in days. The flowers seemed to nod to him, tiny gestures of welcome and peace. As dawn approached, the petals slowly folded, and the garden grew quiet once more. Leora guided the boy back to the village edge, and he left him with a small sense of magic tucked into his heart. The garden returned to its daytime stillness, hidden behind the iron gate, waiting patiently for nightfall. And when the sun dipped below the horizon, the blossoms would open again, glowing softly for anyone who needed the quiet beauty of a night that listened.